Alright everyone, welcome to the Garden of Terror. Today we're doing some post-commentary on a game that we played quite a long time ago now. But I think this is when I had lost my voice, so I wasn't in a position to actually record live gameplay. So, well, it's kind of live gameplay, but it's post-commentary. So we're going to jump into the draft now. First ban on Zool. I guess that's fine. I'm not too bothered about that. I'm going to highlight the Vikings. I do like the Vikings on this map. I do like the Vikings on Sky Temple and Cursed Hollow as well. Any big 3-lane map I do like the Vikings on. The friendly team saying it's a promotion game and it's a demotion game. So we've got demotions in here, we've got promotions in here, and myself. I think we're currently just about 40% of Diamond 2 filled. So I think this will take us up to 60% Diamond 2 filled. So we're not anywhere near a promotion or demotion game just yet. We have a highlighted Dahaka. Okay, Dahaka not the most important here. Okay, switch to Anubrak. Much better choice. The enemy team picking up an Illidan. We also ban KT, fairly standard. We take the Sonya to counter the Illidan. We also get a Lily to counter the Illidan. So this is the problem with first picking an Illidan. He is a strong character, but only if the enemy team, in this case us, the friendly team, don't counter pick him. In this case, we do counter pick. We get a strong Sonya and a strong Lily against him. However, in retaliation, he gets the double support, the Tassadar with the shields, the Leeching shields, and Rhaegar with the Ancestral. We're now in time for the second bans. So Falstad, our fourth player here, licensed to kill, is undecided in what he wants to take. Alright, we're going to ban out the Li Ming. I guess that's okay. Yes, that is pretty good actually. I don't like having Li Ming or Zeratul or Falstad with the Vikings. So if I'm the banner, or if I can persuade my team to change the bans, obviously Kael'thas is going to be banned out pretty much every single time. But also good bans for the Vikings, Falstad. Zool is actually a good one, because he can almost get a guaranteed kill on the Vikings with his Bone Prison, unless you use Jump, and then Jump is a 30-second cooldown. So Zool's pretty good. Tracer again is really good. However, they ban Tracer. They don't know we're going to go Vikings yet, and they ban the Tracer. That's brilliant news for us. It also leaves Falstad open if he wants to take Falstad. Okay, he's switched again. Falstad would be a good pick here, but he is going to go with the Nubarak. So Tracer, Zool, Falstad, Zeratul, Nova, they're all quite good counters to the Vikings, and they currently don't have any. I would have liked to see our Jim Raynor go tank, and our tank have picked up the Falstad there. That just denies them an extra counter. They banned one of the counters themselves, and then we can also pick a counter, so denying a counter from them. That was a bit of a tongue twister. So they need a tank and another damage dealer. Let's see what they get.
Locked and loaded.
Alright. They go for the Nova. Okay, well, I actually forgot about that because it's been a while. What does our last pick go for? I can't actually remember. I know the outcome of the match, but that's about it.
Anytime you're ready.
So we do have a fairly good counter to ETC. We've got Anubrak, Jim Raynor's Q, Sonya's Leap if she takes it, and the Spear. Alright, here we are, Garden of Terror. And we're playing the Vikings. So this team seems to know how to play with the Vikings. If you're going to get maximum usage out of the Vikings, you need to know how to play with the Vikings. And that is usually to put a Viking in each lane, soak all of the XP, and the rest of your team group up just like they're doing here, and your group either super pushes the lane or constantly roams as 4 and ganks for kills. However, we are up against a Nova this time, so we do have to be on our lookout, especially with Balog and Eric. They are very susceptible to a snipe, and we don't get any prior warning to this because Nova obviously is in stealth, so we won't see her coming on the minimap. So she's inevitably going to get a few kills. The friendly team grouping up, getting a tower, I think. Probably. But this is already recorded, so I don't. We're going to be focusing on my perspective. As the Vikings, you have a lot to deal with in your own little world of being the Vikings. You're mainly looking like 90% of the minimap, finding out where the enemy team is, and making sure your Vikings don't die. You don't really have any time to be looking at how the team fights are going, and much else, to be honest. It's really just you're playing your own little game of so-called lanes. Now, I can imagine some of the pro players can do a lot more than that, but we nearly bait ermehgerd into tower range. Well, we do bait him in, but he doesn't actually die. He's doing a lot of aggression onto Balog, which is how you counter the Vikings. If you don't have one of their direct counters like Nova, then you pressure them out of lane and keep them out of XP range. But because the friendly team is in the top lane, I'm focusing. I've left Olaf alone. He's kind of just sat up there for now. And once the friendly team rotate out of top, then I can start moving Olaf in, and I can spend most of the my attention into Balog and Eric, which is the middle and bottom lane, which is actually really good for us. It means I can hopefully keep them alive a little bit longer. Olaf does have that health regen, and he has a bigger health pool in general. Balog is kind of a jack of all trades, not very good at anything, but kind of good at everything in the same sense. Whereas Eric doesn't have a lot of health, but he moves really fast. He can also dodge a lot of skill shots very easily because of his movement speed. So bottom and top should be okay. It's mainly Balog that I've had to keep an eye on a little bit harder in this match so far. You can see I just moved Olaf up a little bit because the friendly team pushed the lane so much. I'm going to have to move Olaf a little bit further into the lane, which is usually more dangerous, but it is Olaf. He should be able to tank a lot of damage before going down, and even if he does, he only gives 25% XP, so it's not that bad. Dying as a Viking isn't the worst. It's not actually you dying that gives you a disadvantage. So when a Viking dies, obviously they're not there in lane to soak the XP, and that's the disadvantage. It's not actually because you've been killed and given XP away, it's because you can't soak the XP yourself. And if that minion wave is in tower range, you've lost a whole minion wave of XP, and that's bad. So talent wise, at level 1 we took Viking Bribery. It's just the best, I think, especially on maps with a lot of mercenary camps, large maps like this one. So what we're going to be doing is you can get 2 stacks of this, which means you can't actually get a night camp on your own. We're getting a bit more aggression from ermehgerd here, the little shit. But you can't actually get a siege camp. So what we're going to be doing is sending Eric over to their siege camp at the bottom right, and we can instantly cap that, and just not only does it deny them, it also puts pressure onto their structures, which forces somebody to go down. Now they do have Illidan, who's pretty good at doing them, and you can see we're already going to grab one at the 3-minute 45-second mark, which means somebody's going to have to rotate out of lane to deal with them, and hopefully Eric is fast enough to get back into lane to not miss any of the XP. At level 4 we took, now at level 4 it's kind of a toss up between Eric the Swift and Mercenary Lord. At level 7 you always go spin to win, it's just the best. It affects all of our Vikings, adds extra damage, and I think it stacks, so if you get hit by all 3 spin to wins you take, you know, 3 times the damage. But if we go back to level 4, Eric the Swift means Eric moves 10% faster. It actually saves his life, I would have said there. Eric moves 10% faster passively, and every second that he is running, he regenerates health. So it allows 2 of your Vikings to regenerate health while being in lane. So basically, Olaf regenerates health when he's out of combat. Eric now regenerates health by running. And Balog is the only one that doesn't, but he gets a little bit of regen from his passive, which is Viking Horde. So for every regen globe we collect, the Vikings' health regen increases a little bit. So Balog gets a little bit. The other 2 have a bit more survivability, especially with Eric the Swift, which I think we took in this scenario, allows Eric to be a lot more survivable. We also blocked a skill shot with Olaf there, saving Sonya some damage because she doesn't regenerate health, whereas Olaf does. And you can see Eric's being left uncontested in the bottom lane. Balog had to retreat, but he's on his way back to mid lane to clear out the siege giants. Uh-oh, have I realised? I have realised. Okay, good. Illidan cannot dive this fort, he will die. So that again saves Balog's life. And you can see Balog's definitely the weaker link in this scenario because he doesn't have any of his own regen. We're going to have to send him Hearthstoning back. I don't really want to waste any of Lily's mana if I can afford to, because if Lily's in range of any of the Vikings automatically get the heal as far as I'm aware, because they have the lowest health pools in comparison to any other hero. So the hero, Lily's heal always goes towards the Vikings, as far as I know. So I'm trying to keep Balog out of Lily range so she can heal a teammate instead of him. Balog is basically just a XP sponge. So Olaf is going to be an XP sponge top, Balog's going to be XP sponge middle, and Eric is kind of like my main guy in this match. He's going to be doing the soaking, he's going to be doing the mercenary camps, and he can even get a few seeds as well. Because even if he gets low on health, you know, he can run. As long as he runs and does some stutter stepping, he's going to regenerate health, and we can keep him in lane very, very easily. Looks like we're getting a bit of FPS lag there. Now you can see the friendly team have died a few times, which has nullified a little bit of the XP that we have got, but we're going to hit level 10 anyway. Nova missing her snipe, and that extra movement speed plus the Z is going to keep us in a good stead. You can see there I queued up some commands for Eric, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. So he's just going to run backwards on the spot constantly and regenerate health. So next time we go to him, he'll have full health. There you go, full health. And that just uses some of the time that we're not controlling Eric for him to do something useful. So while we're not controlling him, he can run backwards and forwards on his own and get his own health back. We're going to steal their mercenary camp yet again. But unfortunately we did lose Balog in the mid lane from Nova, which is to be expected. She's going to get Balog, I think, the most out of this match. Eric's a little bit too fast unless I'm not controlling him and don't realise. Balog moves kind of slow, he doesn't have his own regen, and Olaf is slow but he has his regen. So I think Balog's going to be the main focus, and that's why I'm trying to keep him safer and a lot further back in lane compared to the other two. You can see Olaf in the top lane quite far forward, Eric quite far forward, and Balog is being near the fort the entire time. Now normally you can be a little bit more aggressive with Balog, but you know, we have a Nova, so I don't want to give Nova, well, she can't get GP stacks anymore, but I just don't want to constantly kill Balog. Is the idea with that. At level 10 we took play again. I think it's just the most useful ultimate. Longbow gives you a second health bar. It does a little bit of damage, not as much as it used to. It could, like, you were almost a team in yourself when it first came out. You could solo an enemy team practically with that. It got nerfed 2 or 3 times since then, and now people have decided to use Play Again. Play Again will revive any dead Viking and also heal him up to full health. I'm going to try and, yep, we're going to intercept one of the triple tap shots from Nova. And hopefully that would have saved our teammate's life. I'm not sure if it did or not. I realised finally that the enemy team are doing this camp, so I run in with Eric and get 1 seed. We had 99 seeds, and you need 100 for a giant, for a plant, so I make sure Eric can... I was intending on just letting him suicide in, but I was like, oh, actually, I can get out of here fine. So we get Eric out scot-free. Eric's now back soaking bottom. Olaf has been uncontested top lane for a few minutes now, and a minute is a long time in this game. He's been up there on his own for multiple minutes. So I decide the friendly team's not doing great, so I'm going to try and poke in what I can with Balog, but it's not going to be great. We now have a plant ready, so we're going to go back and get the plant. I'm going to keep Olaf in the top lane, and I'm kind of worried that they might rotate up. So I'm going to hold him back just a little bit in lane, send Balog out into mid lane, use Eric to collect the plant. So again, he's Nova to come and kill Balog. She doesn't actually kill him, but he's the best target for her to try and kill. And it looks like Olaf does have some competition in the top lane, but it's only by Rhaegar. I will probably die. At this point, I've set a waypoint for behind the gate, but I think I've already resigned the fact that Olaf will die. Yes, he dies. But I'd already come to terms with that. I wasn't going to control him anymore. If he gets behind the gate, great. But if he doesn't, then, you know, I expected that anyway. We're going to put the plant on this side of the gate. So if they ever want to come and attack it, they have to come outside of their base to try and attack it. Otherwise, we get free extra damage on their stuff. ETC extending pretty deep into our team. And we'll just smack him with the plant along with Sonya. You can see I've rotated Balog down to the bot lane to soak some more XP, and we're also controlling the plant. Now if Olaf was alive, Olaf has just respawned, Olaf would still be in the top lane soaking top XP. So we have 2 out of 3 lanes soaked, but you can see their minion wave is starting to back up in the top lane, so we should still have a hefty chunk of XP to gather up there while we still push in with the plant. So they have to kind of defend this plant, but if they all defend the plant, they're going to lose out on so much experience. We still have Balog pushing in the bottom lane. I think he might have taken out the wall and he's onto the fort now. Olaf has finally got to the top lane, so now he's going to be soaking that top lane. Yes, great. Balog did manage to get the wall down. And yeah, I was going to play again, but he died too fast, but we can summon him again anyway. So basically, if a Viking isn't dead, they still get summoned to that location. So if I was a lot quicker with that, Eric would have jumped out of the Garden Terror. I could have played again and just teleported him towards Balog without dying. I was a bit slow, but you can do it normally. It's good if you can see a gank coming, so maybe if Olaf in the top lane was getting ganked like before by the Rhaegar, we could have played again, teleported him down and saved him. But a lot of the time, it doesn't become... A lot of the time, it can be quite inconvenient because it removes all your Vikings from the lane and teleports them all to one location, and then you have to spread the Vikings out again. Eric getting away from another gank because of his movement speed and healing. And Sonya did actually go for leap, which is a good idea against a Nova. She'll be able to jump on the Nova. Now this is interesting. So there is a team fight going on, yet Illidan decides to chase me the entire time. Now I'm trying just to buy time and space and juke and try and just make his life a misery. Now I could have probably got behind the gate, but I didn't think about that. I was trying to lose him in the bush, but actually with that movement speed I could have probably ended up getting behind the gate. So that was probably a little bit of a misplay by me. Another gank on Balog, but this time I save his life. Get wrecked. So we teleport all the Vikings, we revive Eric, who was dead. We save Balog's life, we jump out of the way of the snipe. Now I'm trying to send Balog behind to soak up a shot, but it doesn't seem to work. I think I just positioned it a little bit poorly, so I was a bit pissed off with that. I could have saved my own Viking with another Viking, but it didn't seem to work. That being said, Nova had to use triple tap on Olaf, so you know that's not too great for her. She doesn't have that for, you know, Sonya or one of our real heroes. She used it on a third of a hero. So once Olaf is respawning, again we're sending him straight to top lane. Eric manages to get their siege. They haven't had that siege camp the entire game. We've taken it 3 times from them. Balog is still middle, soaking more XP. And despite the friendly team dying quite a few times, we've now managed to get a 2-level lead. Well, a 1.5. No, 2 levels. 2 levels. So the other option at level 4 is Mercenary Lord. So you don't get the extra movement or healing on Eric, but you can pick up Mercenary Lord, which means you do... mercenaries near you deal 50% extra damage, and you receive 50% less damage near mercenaries, I think. So it's always a toss-up between them. Do you think you can get use out of the mercenaries, push them into a tower, and give them that 50% extra damage to really push down a structure really fast? Or do you want that extra survivability on Eric, so he can always heal up, he can always... move faster, dodge skill shots. So I went for the Eric the Swift in this case, but I think either of them is a good choice. I see a lot of Vikings go for Mercenary Lord, but I think Eric the Swift is kind of personal preference. Again, I don't know if Eric can do these camps without Eric the Swift. You can see just how much health we regenerate, and we got both of these camps with Eric on our own. Now, I don't think he can do that without this talent, but then again, we gave up the opportunity to be able to run down a lane with empowered mercenaries and, you know, really seriously hurt their structures. So if you can imagine, we had Olaf in the top lane for about 3 minutes on his own. If he had empowered mercenaries with him, we could have been against the keep by now, so that's a thing. At this point, I'm trying to team fight with the friendly team. We have 1-for-1 traded, so this is looking quite good for us. We do only have 2 of our Vikings here. We have left Eric in the mid lane, so we're half committing to the team fight and half not. Olaf is just there to be annoying and get in the way and be like a meat shield. Balog's going to do splash damage to their entire team, and Eric's kind of the chaser that can follow the team if they try to retreat. However, we don't have him with us. You can see Olaf blocked another snipe there by Nova, and we do manage to catch the Tassadar. So within that really elongated team fight, we got 2 kills, and yeah, it's pretty good. At level 20, we took up Fury of the Storm. This is kind of the best one to go for in every scenario. So it increases your basic attack, as you just saw there, and your basic attack, once it goes off, every 5 seconds it will chain to everybody nearby. So it's great for pushing lanes. So even if you don't go for Mercenary Lord, it's definitely worth picking up the Fury of the Storm to increase that split pushing power or potential. It's actually pretty good for team fights as well, because it does just increase your basic attack, and if you're near any minions and mercenaries, it then spreads and does extra damage then. So at this time, Eric's died. He's normally my go-to guy for the Dragon Knight or the Garden Terror, but he's dead, so we're going to put in Balog. Olaf getting gacked by Illidan. I don't know if he's going to get away. We're going to put a waypoint towards the fort, but again, if Illidan wants to spend the time killing Olaf, we're just going to kill their team. It's kind of the same vein as Murky. If you want to chase Murky around the map, then that's good for the enemy team. It's good for Murky's team if you're chasing Murky around the map, because Murky has a lot less of an impact than, say, Illidan would, or Nova, or their healer, something like that. So for Illidan, their main damage dealer, especially since they picked double support to help Illidan, for him to be running around the map chasing my Vikings, that's good for us. And on top of that, we have play again. So even when he does kill a Viking on the other side of the map, we can revive them on the other side of the map. And he's just wasted his time, basically. Wasted his time for a little tiny smidgen of XP. So the pressure from the XP and the split push, I guess. I mean, we did do a lot of split pushing on this. It was just too much for them. We actually get a compliment. Vikings OP! Oh my god! So that was a game with the Vikings. We are now halfway to Diamond. And if you did enjoy the video, leave a like, comment and subscribe. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Look at that fat XP.